One of the most impactful worldwide natural disasters of all time that you've probably never heard of was the 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora. Hello, my name is Jonathan Hale, and today I'll be informing you about how this event caused the year without a sun. In 1815, an island in the Lesser Sunda Islands of Indonesia, known as Mount Tambora, erupted with a 7 out of 8 explosivity reading. To this day, this is the highest reading ever reported. This explosion had incredible effects on these three categories: land, people, and climate. First, let's talk about the devastating effects that this eruption had on the land around it. When a volcano erupts, the crater left in the top is known as a caldera. According to Broneman, when Tambora erupted, it launched the entire top third of the mountain into the air, leaving behind a caldera with a diameter of over 4 miles. That was nearly a mile deep. Lava, magma, rocks, and ash rained from the sky when it erupted, crushing houses, people, and wildlife. Several whirlwinds tore down any buildings that were left standing. Vegetation was ripped from the earth, causing the land to be uninhabitable for decades. The sky went pitch black as the sun was completely blocked out by ash. Soon, the entire area around the mountain was completely buried in debris. While the mountain was previously one of the tallest worldwide, it now stands at a much smaller 9,000 feet. Second, let's talk about the terrifying effect that Mount Tambora had on the people around it. The soon-to-be chaos had all started as small, harmless ash clouds coming out of the top of the mountain, which the people were very accustomed to. Although, as time went on, everyone began to grow more and more aware of the growing amounts of ash pouring out of the summit until it finally began to erupt. Still, bursts of lava and rock were not uncommon to the inhabitants of the mountain, so they were most likely not very alarmed. However, soon the mountain began to shake violently, more so than it had ever done before. According to Hicks, a portion of a letter sent from a neighboring village that recorded the eruption said this, quote, "At 10 p.m. on the 1st of April, we heard a noise resembling a cannonade, which lasted at intervals till 9 o'clock the next day. It continued, at times loud, at others resembling distant thunder. But on the night of the 10th, the explosions became truly tremendous, frequently shaking the earth and sea violently. From that time till the 11th, the air was constantly filled with ash to such a degree that it was unpleasant to stir out of doors. By 1 p.m., candles were necessary. By 4 p.m., it was pitch dark." End quote. In total, 100,000 people were killed in the eruption of Mount Tambora, and although people searched for days, 3 entire cultures disappeared without a trace. Finally, let's talk about the impact that this eruption had on the world's climate. After the eruption, not only did thousands of tons of ash go into the sky, but also 60 to 80 megatons of sulfur dioxide. According to Marshall, this was 4 times as much sulfur dioxide as Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. This sulfur rose into the stratosphere, which is about 32 miles above the Earth's surface, where it then spread to the rest of the globe. Eventually, it oxidized and formed H2SO4, which condensed into tiny droplets called sulfate aerosols, which amazingly dimmed the entire world's sunlight. The massive cooling of the Earth's atmosphere not only lowered the overall temperatures for the year of 1816, but also decreased evaporation rates. Naturally, this also caused the world's precipitation rates to be quite low. All these changes resulted in the year of 1816 to be forever known as the year without a summer. In conclusion, Mount Tambora, which was one of the tallest mountains of its time, erupted in 1815 with a 7 out of 8 explosivity rating. While it's lost its grand title of being one of the tallest mountains of its time, it gained the title of the largest volcanic eruption ever recorded. With such discharge, its fatality rate was also enormous. Over 100,000 inhabitants died in the eruption. The blast also not only did the blast ruin the area around the mountain, but it also leaked megatons of sulfur dioxide into the air. This sulfur then oxidized and formed sulfate aerosols, which dimmed the temperature overall of the year of 1816. This resulted in the year of 1816 to be known as the year without a summer. The combination of effects that Mount Tambora had on the world's land, people, and climate is the reason why this eruption was one of the most eventful in the Earth's history.